Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to Old Man Rambles. No man's going to ramble a bit about what seems to be an ongoing topic. I've talked about how complaining people you couldn't make those movies anymore, couldn't make those movies these days. People complaining about how modern writing sucks. Today we're going to talk about comedy, about how you can't joke about things anymore. This is a post-joke world. You don't joke anymore about anything. Back in my day, people could take a joke. People had a sense of humor. People weren't offended so easily. So let's examine that, shall we? George Carlin, well-known, popular, famous, well-loved comedian, was arrested on stage while performing his 7 Dirty Words bit. He was also fired for saying shit on stage in Las Vegas. Pardon me for swearing. I try not to because this is a work-related channel. Richard Pryor was arrested twice for obscenity. Again, once while on stage. Mae West, who many people don't know, but she was an old vaudeville performer who moved into film, had a play entitled Sex. There was no explicit material in it. It was basically a comedy about the relationships between husbands and their wives. There was some innuendo, but of course, her play was shut down and she spent 10 days in jail for it. Lenny Bruce, famous comedian, around the time he predated George Carlin. He was arrested multiple times for violating obscenity laws. He was arrested once for saying schmuck because the cops wanted to arrest him but couldn't find anything truly objectionable material, so they made something up just to get him in handcuffs. The Smothers Brothers, which was a television show in the 70s, it was a comedy sketch show. Kind of like, not quite like Saturday Night Live. I'm trying to think of something modern that resembles it, and I can't. But it was a daytime show. They've constantly fought with censors because they wanted to talk about, they want to make political humor. Censors constantly shut them down. They once had one of their episodes pulled because they had a skit with a priest in it. Now, the priest was not doing anything, they weren't making fun of religion. They simply had a priest acting like an idiot, and they pulled it off the air. Star Trek had the first interracial kiss. That's not comedy. This is offset from comedy, but again, so I mentioned it. Star Trek had an episode that the South refused to air because of interracial kiss. That's not comedy. I went off tangent. My apologies. An obscure, I'm going to my memory, trying to remember the stuff I wrote down. An obscure comedy duo called Bowley and Wilson in 1981 were arrested on stage for performing a song called The Fart Song. A mother was in the audience with her 16-year-old daughter, was extremely offensive, went and found a phone in the theater, called the cops, and the Dallas police arrested them in 1981. Yeah, we used to be able to take a joke, apparently. Language is always changing. Words and phrases that were once considered offensive become passé and commonplace. A good example is the word dung. Dung used to be considered vulgar. People were surprised and offended that President Roosevelt continuously used the word dung in his language. They were surprised that a president would say such a vulgar word. Now it's the accepted scientific word for poop. So language changes. And of course, it's not just the common yahoos that are complaining you can't make a joke anymore. It's comedians too. They're always saying, oh, people have, what happened to you people? I used to think you were smart. I used to think you were cool. Now you're saying you can't make jokes anymore? Let me ask you a question, big famous comedian who has 3 Netflix deals for paying you for $60 million. When was the last time you were arrested for your comedy? When was the last time you went to jail for saying something that offended someone? Did you get lazy? Did you get soft? Did you join the other side? You keep complaining that people need to be more thick-skinned, and you're the one who's whining about someone who made a mean comment about you on Twitter. I think the person that needs to get a thicker skin, maybe, is you, who thinks we can't take a joke anymore. Good hunting.